So today we are talking about why schedule and routine are important, whether or not they are, the pros and the cons of a consistent daily routine. First off, let's talk about the pros of a daily routine and schedule. I mean, some of these are really obvious. The fact that, as an example, it reduces our need to plan, it decreases our anxiety, it decreases the learning curve, it makes the world a much more predictable place. Some of the other advantages include things like it gives us structure, it saves time and energy. However, a daily work schedule and routine that is too highly routinized can create bad habits and bad behaviors, and there are some cons as well to having a very consistent daily schedule and routine. Some of the cons of having too consistent of a daily routine or schedule are the fact that we often say the human brain is like a hardwired haven. What it means is that your brain will hardwire absolutely everything that it can. By the time, in fact, that you've seen something for the second time, your brain says, you know what, I'm going to hardwire this in so that I don't have to think about it consciously the second time. You've probably had the experience of driving along or walking along and daydreaming, you're drifting, you're thinking about other things, you suddenly come to and you realize, who was driving the car? And how is it that I just kept walking? The truth is that you've got whole clusters of cells, nerve endings in your brain called basal ganglia that will automate absolutely everything possible. Well, what's the downside to that? The downside is that the more routinized and the more routine we become in our day and in our schedule, what we end up doing is we end up creating neural networks that embed not just mindlessness and a lack of cognitive deliberateness, but that can create bad habits, bad behaviors, and sustain things that we don't want in our daily routine. So, how do you venture from your daily routine happily, and why would you bother? What you should think about is trying new things, going new places. When you find yourself really set in routine way, take that as your opportunity to be spontaneous. The reason that we want to do that is because it really accomplishes what, as an example, much research has proven, which is that you're a much more creative, innovative, productive person if in fact you can venture away from your routine, from routinized behaviors happily. One of the benefits of pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone and outside of your set or standardized routine is something that Google figured out, as an example. When Google asked their employees to do what they called 20% innovation time off, they were basically saying, you know what, we want you to interrupt the routine that you often have had or that we gave you, and we want you to do something different. And what Google found out was that a lot of the innovations that were developed in that 20% time off, those innovations were the ones that were the most successfully commercialized. What it shows is that if we push ourselves outside of routine, outside of what's normative for us, into new areas and in meeting new people and doing new things, we're actually much more creative, much more productive, and much more likely to be innovative in the work that we're doing. While routine has its benefits, if you want to be a more innovative thinker, a more creative thinker, more productive, more motivated, if you want to have better memory, a lot of the research shows you have to push yourself outside of a daily routine that is too highly routinized. And of course, one of the added bonuses is that this will also help to create new behaviors and new habits and break old ones. Now, one routine that I definitely support on the daily is to subscribe to my daily videos. Make sure to click subscribe and ring that bell below. And